Jonathan, we're about to start right now. Okay.
Perfect, thanks.
Okay. And just so you know, you are on speaker, so when you unmute and speak, you can participate or interject or whatever. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we ready?
Ready to begin? Yes, sir. First of all, thank you for your counter on Friday. What we've done is we've gone through the document and given hours. Wasn't sure how many people were coming to this one.
We can share.
I don't know if anybody back there would want one. Those are two actually as well.
None for you. You didn't bring us all apples.
Yeah. Didn't share. So first, I've also numbered the pages to help us
Yeah.
and made them single-sided, so you just flip and play along picture pages style.
That'll work.
So on page 1, since we already have an agreement, as far as the TISA money is concerned, we have countered with not reimagining what the MOU says.
All right, we agree with that.
On page 2, we have included the retroactive pay that is a part of the MOU. It's already in the MOU that it's retroactive. And then we've clarified that it is the salary placement for 25 to 28, since it's a 3-year deal, and got to negotiate the next set and all that other stuff. The question we had was in regards to the cost of living and whether or not the cost of living also went on to the placement scale. Meaning that, you know, if it is a cost of living adjustment, is it something that impacts the placement scale? So we wanted to have a discussion about that.
Okay, as far as I know, it went into the current employee's salary, not on a placement scale,
Okay.
along with the performance schedule.
Just for clarity, we wanted to double check.
Yes.
Okay, so then that's just the note part. So we are in agreement that we would cancel that underlying section. It would not go on the salary placement scale. The other part was the $1 million, as far as the amount that we know that Leon County Schools was provided. And so
Sure, I can
I'm
give
sure
you-
there's an explanation that goes.
Yeah,
with
I
that.
can give you an explanation. That is the correct amount. However, we have to give our portion of a share to all 4 charter schools. So they get their TISA, for lack of a better word. It's a new name, classroom teacher and other instructional personnel salary increase. We still call it TISA. They get their portion and that brings it down.
Okay, so then we are in agreement with the 1 million based off of the information you shared, so that corrects that part. And then down below, just in further clarification of the amounts, it's just more factual information is part of our. Any questions?
Let me look real quick.
Yeah, 3768 is more like a 376793. You know, it had to round up. So just standard mathematical practice. The other one did divide evenly. Effective and grandfathered.
Okay, we'll check them out later.
Okay.
But it looks like we're on the same page.
All right.
But I gotta check the cost of living. Okay.
Okay. On page 3. The language that we know that we agreed to on October 1st was just changing that the board shall approve temporary duty leave for employees perform LCTA duties as outlined below. And then down below, there were two sentences that were added in. Notice of proceedings shall be provided to the Office of Labor Relations. We believe that's part of the MOU. That clarifies things.
We'll strike that. We agree with that.
And then down below, it says the board shall grant association leave for employees to carry out LCTA activities as described below, rather than a number of enumerated things that we will address through the MOU process.
We're taking out all of that. So there's existing language that's like in there that says they're speaking to the board may grant.
Pretty much, Jim.
Yes, the paragraph was not a part of the conversation we had on October 1st, and with new language, what we said was switching out temporary duty to association leave, and that
Okay,
was
so,
the intent.
so let me just, we'll caucus later, but let me just get it clear. Number 2 should be deleted.
To the point where it says the last sentence, that is,
Board shall be granted association leave for carry out all activities. All right, I'll just put a question. We'll go back.
page 3 seems to be more of a function of how calculations of association leave will be handled through temporary duty rather than what the leave is. So if there is something that needs to be enumerated in the MOU that it would be charged to temporary duty, we can do that. But as we said, October 1st, we had a conversation of just changing leave without pay to association leave. So we are sticking with that portion.
There's no such thing as that,
In HR.
right, in our system.
So I guess in our HR system, there's no way to input association leave. That's why we were saying charge a temporary duty. If we do charge it to temporary duty, that's an internal mechanism that you would not care about,
Well, I mean,
or would you?
I think if we have association leave defined and everything, but we will have a discussion on our side. I think if it was that it had to be association leave charged temporary duty, then we're not opposed to having that portion. Definitely don't want quotes on all this stuff, but we've never put quotes around different types of leave and stuff, so
We can get rid of quotes.
but we would be amenable to that portion.
So okay on the first sentence.
To the temporary duty, wherever it says association leave charged temporary duty, we would not be opposed to that part.
Okay. So just get rid of the quotes and the rest is good.
As long as the association leave charged temporary duty, I think the one thing was the board shall not pay for any expenses associated, and it goes down on E and enumerates FEA delegation. Or this part was a new piece, or paragraph 2C LCTA representation on district committees. That was new, not on October 1st, therefore we struck it.
Okay, let me look real quick. All right. So 302H is okay. 303 is okay. 7A3B is okay. Service, okay.
We tentatively agreed to the B change on 7.03 in-service activities at our September 27th meeting.
All right, we're okay with that. That's good.
And then in terms of the moving stuff and things that have not necessarily been discussed on October 1st, these are just where we believe we're just gonna stick with what we got. We are more than willing to go ahead and deal with moving language and stuff, but we would rather not have to deal with that right now as we try to land the plane and get through ratification.
Okay, I'll agree to that. $705, we're good.
705, we're good. Anything that is in black or green, we're in agreement with. The black is just usually an explanation.
Okay.
The green is where we've got mutually agreed upon language that we believe we've discussed and are in the right spot.
So is 7.7 current contract language? To retain current contract, that's all we're doing. Got it. All right.
Now, page 6 is very similar. We're trying to just get to the end, moving language and stuff we can address another time. And then in 10.02, we have agreement on page 6, but there was a sentence added at the bottom of the paragraph on page 7 at the top about site administrators will use their best judgment based on the totality circumstances in rendering a decision on such request.
All right, we can agree to strike that. Teacher be notified of emergency plans versus strict in. And 3A, we can agree to your
Okay.
new red. And the rest is the same.
The rest is the same. Yes,
All right, I'm slow, but I'm following.
you're doing great.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Just- So 1004, I can agree in concept to the entire thing. It's just I can't. If the district acts with haste.
How about
The district tries to
district-
implement.
will implement?
If the district say again, since a district acts. To implement policy by the end of the third 9 weeks, which will be followed by. All right, we'll come back. We have very similar language. I'll try to make it.
Yeah.
Where you're protected for your impact bargaining rights that negative impact the terms and conditions of your folks when we change policies of this nature. So we can, I can fix that to get where you're going.
Gotcha.
That's good. Good.
The 11.07, that is this proposed new section piece, or I guess recordings and disciplinary action. The issue we had was in looking at this particular document, it has agreed on that one. Or it's got a check, I'm not sure, it's underneath it, we were just trying to get some clarity.
So, I know.
They agreed with that. It was written down there before we got to it.
So this way, something.
Birthday. No, sorry.
I'm just saying, if they
I've heard a lot
were
worse.
doing some peanuts dances, that would be just chef's kiss right there.
This one. That was the line, that was the last thing that we discussed at the table here. And then this is what they had proposed. at the table. And that was my response.
This way, something.
So it wasn't, the agree was misplaced.
Right.
You're fired.
I mean,
We'll
it's,
let you caucus.
it's almost saying
on that
like,
one.
we wanna, we know you're not allowed to legally record. We're gonna have a policy saying you can't legally record. It's more of a crime. I'll look at it. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't know.
For the purposes of the remainder of page 8, 9, and 10, we're in agreement. The language that we had at the table, and there was no changes that we saw from what the proposal on October 1st to October 3rd.
I agree. 2, 14. 15, all right, let me look at 15.
And are you on 1502 now?
Yes,
Okay, so 1502 had a different paragraph written at the front of it. And so we reverted back to the October 1st discussion that was built off of the Orange County language. And so that's why you see what you see.
okay.
And I think on 1503, we may have made a little bit of an error in the sense that we did talk about renaming a section district initiated transfer process rather than, so there would not be confusion of a transfer process. So if it's not this article, then which clarity part would you like it on is pretty much what we're asked.
I think it's the next one.
Okay, so then we can definitely go back to current contract language on 1503 if that's the case and it's worded the way that you would like it to be at the top. So for 1404, the wording was changed again from October 1st, so we reverted back to the language where we had the discussion at the table.
All right, we can agree to A and B. C. Everything else looks okay.
Yeah, CD, and like I said, unless it's red, it's
Got it.
what we've had is.
I know, I'm trying to
language.
make sure I don't make a mistake.
No, you're good. Keep asking. It's okay.
All right, 1705, we're all good.
Yes.
Normal retirement means now 20 years after job.
Apparently,
Pretty soon.
new age is 80. We're on page 13 right now, bottom, 1705, 1706 going on.
We're good with that.
Well, we had a question in terms of 13, at the bottom, 1706. It was our understanding that it was a single leave piece, but now I guess there's requests for bookkeepers where, let's say I'm using 3 different types, now I have to do 3 different leaves for one day. I have to put them in individually 3 different times.
Even the same.
The portion. Basically, if you're using
9 to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's 2 hours
Break it
each,
apart
you know,
more.
there are
Break it up,
2
how you-
hours.
So I mean, if your lunch is in the middle and you're using a comp and stuff or whatever, then now it could be a leave for the morning, a leave for lunch, a leave for the afternoon. Well, I see you nodding, but that's not necessarily what the intent we had. That seems like a lot more paperwork than what was anticipated. It was just being able to use multiple type leaves for a single leave was the discussion at the table. So we'd like to figure out operationally how to streamline that.
The problem with it is that we've got to, you know, we use Skyward to enter leave, right?
Mhm.
And so in order for us to be able to count it against that leave balance, you've got to enter it according to the individual leave balance that you're using. That's the current practice. So like what I indicated at the table is that we're doing this currently. That's the way that we're currently doing it. There's no way to streamline it and be able to know how much of each type of leave should be utilized.
Well, just spitballing, but it's a single act and there's multiple pull down menus of like using this time to this piece, this time to this piece, rather than having to do it 3, 4, 5 times just based off of what the linear usage of the time is. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Let me look at it internally. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
internally it's used.
no, I know.
I know everyone's half days that I deal with because it's such a mess. So I've never seen a quarter hour.
They treat them like.
Well, I think what may be an easier avenue to consider is that we used to have leave slips that would then get approved by the administrator and then somebody input it if it has to be 14 different ways. But for the employee,
All different copies.
it's just karaoke day. But for streamlining and just requesting leave, there are ways. It's just a matter of the willingness of the district to streamline it for the employee.
So when the employee requests leave is it in Skyward?
Yep.
In Skyward, there's not a menu of X, Y, Z, or you're saying bookkeeper?
Each one apparently is gonna have to be done individually is the issue.
You can always pick one at a time. There's not multiple drop downs for multiple.
Oh,
The way Skyward's built.
I love Skyward, right? You can't do anything
You can
practical.
only- can't enter types of leave.
Because I just said package. I understand. Not a teacher. I understand. We don't-
And we can probably-
How about every effort will be made to get rid of Skyward?
Yes.
Really no teeth in every effort,
How to bring back.
not that I've seen.
How to bring back tests. All right, we'll look at that.
Okay.
It could be a mechanical problem. We'll see if we can fix it. CVE.
So page 14 was pretty straightforward. Was just the rest of that 1706. And then when we get to page 15 with 2201, that is the tentatively agreed upon language we had and so forth for the rest of the page. Page 16, similarly, itemized pay stub, in agreement on that portion. And then page 17, teacher evaluation review committee. We had that we would just stop the sentence and add the to the appropriate authority.
All right, we could agree to that. All right, so we just have a couple
Sure.
items, that's it. You know of any, or can you look on break of any policies about illegal recording of employees? And would that be a policy, not contract language?
Well, what we did was, the first was policy, and we said practices, like meaning what are the structural things that are in place within the school system to limit it. But based off the sheet and the language, that's why that's what we put in.
Okay. All right.
I understand that the sheet's wrong, but I have a feeling that if we had signed something, there would have been, as I initialed that page, as I was asked, that it would be. I just hope that there would be as much understanding,
All right, I'll try to find.
and will be
something.
understanding.
It's an unusual thing. I've never seen it.
Mhm.
So,
Which is why we want to work with you.
okay. We're very, very close. I've got a Skyward issue and a legal issue.
Yes.
All right. Be right back. So we have the original MOU that we all signed that we'll go with instead of the first
Correct.
page.
Yes, I got it in my folder as well. And then I think you probably have also the other MOUs that we signed, that Rocky signed for our
Yes.
copies as well.
And so. Okay. Right.
Okay, we'll talk. Just like you know, I did unmute so that it's really, we're live. I just want to be respectful and let you know.
I'm so loud, he probably won't hear me.
You've been working on your teacher.
That's why we have the transcripts at the bottom.
That's right. Use your teacher voice. I'm not a teacher. Don't put pressure on me. All right. Go to where we can. And then how do you envision, like, when we say we agree, do we want to like say this first page, we agree?
Like sign it, like initial date, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just TA and initial, and then I'll date the first page, but we could date every single page. I don't care.
I'm okay dating one page and just initialing. I think we all understand we're on camera and what our intent is and stuff like, we're not trying to be,
So the first page is TA. Still the sixth.
initial.
Well, they're all dated.
So Kim and I will do a single document, you do yours, and then we'll just. Okay,
The second page will TA. I have some lines and stuff, doesn't mean anything, I'm just gonna cross it out.
okay.
Initial it.
Yeah, so just for clarity's purpose, the node cost of living we've struck out as part of the TA, and the other amount for recalculate, we've crossed out and said agree to 1 million. There was one question as to what was the calculation factor for the charter school. Are you using 25, 24, 25 charter numbers? Okay.
It's based on the last FTE count.
Right, and I think when you do that, it's probably short like 10,000, but then Renaissance closed was the other part, so,
Did, and the share went down too.
okay,
So we were at over 1% last year. I think we're at 54 or 0.54 for the end of this year.
okay. Yeah, I appreciate the explanation, just kind of looking at it and wondering. All right.
All right, page 3, we can TA. Whole page.
Yeah.
On page 4. I think we agree, and I don't have this in writing, I don't have this done, but to take out the quotes. And keep the charge to temporary duty.
I put down add back charge to temp duty on ours. So yes, we're in agreement with that.
And there's nothing there that you've been heading at all. Yeah, right. It's all in.
Say that again, sorry,
You're good.
Oh, I was saying, I've got a note on the side, add back, change to, charge to temporary duty, remove quotes. And other than that, that's the only thing that's being reinstated on that page. So the only thing that stays, I guess, eliminated are the quotes and the end of E.
on. Page 3,
Mhm.
going backwards, can you live with the board shall grant association leave charge as temporary duty. For employees to carry out blah, 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 blah.
I will add charge to temporary duty there. Is page 4.
Page
See?
4 is good, I just put brackets around temporary duty, and then
Okay.
E is good. Page 5 is good.
Okay.
Page 6 is good. Okay, we sent you on page 7.
Mhm.
Everything's good up to 10:04, and I sent you some language. I don't know if you saw it. And Brett
Uh,
sent you like probably at 2:58.
like a V2, is this what?
It's the second sentence. It basically says to address your second sentence or your such that it's if the district implements a policy on security cameras, the LCTA reserves the right to impact bargain any negative impacts on the terms and conditions of employment, which I believe is a per statement of law.
All right, so I gotta go down to
Instead of
page 7.
8(3). Here, I'll show
I
you.
see it. In the event, nope, that's not the one. There I get there. Sorry. Just, it is. I had to get off of that.
Basically, we advertise anything on cameras and all that, you have the right to,
Right.
should it.
So,
negatively
so
affect-
the issue with, I guess the if part is the fact that we want to negotiate the language. We wanted to negotiate it 2 years ago. We were told the policy would be put in place. Policy has been put in place. There's nothing governing cameras. We tried to negotiate it again this year, and we're being told the policy is going to get put in place. At some point in time, someone's gonna have to negotiate some language here. I mean, there's only so many times they can be put on the board that they didn't pass a policy or kick down the road. It makes absolutely no sense that a policy has to be in place beforehand, because there were things that were even agreeable to your side of the table at the time that we presented the language. It was said, we agreed to some of these things. Well, then just agree to the ones that you can agree to. So I understand, and you know what, for the purposes of where we are, we're gonna move forward, but it's
I'm
It's
not
just-
sure, to be honest, I would never bargain security cameras because that's a security reason. So I'm not sure how that even got in here. I'm trying to just slowly land the plane because security cameras, I would not bargain. But should something be passed, I think you do have a right to say this may implicate.
So you don't believe that people should have the ability to not be illegally recorded in bathrooms and things like that? Like you couldn't even do contract language along those lines?
No, of course I agree to that, but security cameras to me is. It's different. It's not, there's no such thing as bathroom cameras that I know of. That would not be security. So it's not allowed.
Without a definition or whatnot, like which is why we were just trying to get some straightforward. We can all agree to these types of things. That if cameras are in a classroom and someone's pregnant or had a baby, needs to do some pumping and things, like when are the personal times that cameras would not be on, that kind of thing, because it's not necessarily for a safety reason or whatever. So I understand, you know, the position of the district, but at some point in time, we have to get to where people understand.
But those issues would be worked through the policy.
Well, but if there is a policy, that's what we keep being told. So,
I guess I looked at it differently. Each issue can be individually dealt with. I'm looking at like where cameras are, how cameras are, how many there are, types of cameras. However, any policy that negatively impacts your members, were notice us and we will sit down.
so is it just the security part or the camera part that's the disagreement?
Both. I don't know. I'm not sure why we have Yeah, I have a whole 24 hours into this. I'm not
Right.
sure why we're bargaining security cameras. It's a topic of bargaining. Apparently it's opened up. I don't know why. Obviously, if you can bargain, teachers cannot be recorded in the classroom without their permission. You can bargain that. That's not a security camera in my mind. That's a, can I have this recording on during this period? During instruction, or there's a security camera in the hallway, we're not gonna bargain. They're probably always gonna be on. The cafeteria is always gonna be on. Better not be in the bathroom. That's probably a student misconduct problem. Are you just writing in that language?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll have to copy that too.
So I've taken, what? Yeah, so I've taken, and you can double check with what you have in front of you. If the district implements a policy on security cameras, the LCTA reserves the right to impact bargain any negative impact on terms and conditions of employment. I mean, it's really, why even put the sentence in there at this point, but
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
And it wasn't necessarily that it was cameras can't go anywhere for security. It was just proper notification. It was not, aiming at a bathroom door or something, like different things that would be reasonable, I think, to all of us. So with that sentence, is that page TA?
Yes. And not a quick writer, we all saw that. Done. Let's skip 8 and come back to the cell phone.
And I think part of the issue, just for reference on the cell phone. And also kind of it, within whatever the thought process is, in the cell phones, the Chromebooks record, there's so many different things, the devices that are intended to be used just for frame of reference of what our previous conversations were.
Yeah, I guess we can get to it. As I understand it, there's a technology practice policy 5136 that governs this. And then there's a disciplinary matrix 5500.01 that governs students when they do this. It's a, I think there's a feeling there is a policy in place.
So to kind of recap October 1st discussion, there is a policy in place. It's more of the practices that are non-uniform across the district, which makes it probably more, I don't know, easier to report in some settings than others. And just having structure that is expected to kind of protect everybody to some degree. Consistency is just a part of it, you know. We know that there are some teachers, even within recent state statute, that, you know, cell phones not supposed to be used in certain instances and stuff, but, you know, you're not supposed to chew gum in class either, but there are some teachers that allow it. So how consistent are we across the board in our implementation of the statute and the expectations in the policy?
It's like the code of conduct. It's there. Different buildings use it more seriously than other buildings. I would hope they're not. You know, allowing illegal recording of employees. And I hope the employee would bring that to the attention, and that would be a problem
It'll be brought to the
without
attention.
language.
Right.
We're
I
not
know.
discounting the issue. The issue is, it very well could be a crime. It's a violation of the technology practice policy. There will be problems.
I think it's
And
just
then you got
a,
a student code of conduct issue.
sorry, didn't mean to speak. I thought you were. Yeah. Yes, and it doesn't take long to upload a video that does whatever it does, social media wise and otherwise. And so the issue really comes down to, you can have laws in place, that doesn't mean people are gonna follow them, but there are practices that you can also implement that would facilitate adherence to those laws. And so what are those practices was primarily what our focus was after we went through the discussion of state statute, policy, all the different things that were in place. So can I just be, I'm just gonna be frank. It seems that the district believes that because there's a policy that resides in Neola, that it solves the problem. And it doesn't.
All right.
Well, that's why I say it seems.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that that is the case. It's that we have because the response has always been, we have a policy. We have a policy.
Well, I know it's to prevent. I don't know how a policy could prevent. People have to prevent. Administrators have to prevent. Other teachers have to prevent from doing it. Students have to prevent from doing it.
Quick and just, so we'll move on. I mean,
It's a hard one. This is the hardest one I have.
Yeah.
Of all of them. That's why I wanted to skip it.
And that's why we're skipping. That's why we're gonna skip.
Well,
I gave you some
since we
context.
discussed it, can we come to terms now on this?
I mean, whatever, I mean, what's the terms? Is there,
I don't have a counter that'll solve the prevention of a person who's willing to break the law and policy and record someone. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
And I don't know how to negotiate that. Does it go on? It goes on. I don't know how to negotiate.
I'll give you an example of another one. What's the device that parents put on their backpacks?
Angel.
Yeah,
Angel think.
Yeah.
And so now like they're listening in on things going in the classroom and stuff and
For ESE type kids.
yeah, well, I mean, anybody who's got,
Even in the news.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know. Got EMPs to go off, I guess. I don't know what
They have
the
to
answer
watch
is here.
You said I just have
They to
life
watch it.
360. I didn't know this. I gotta look at it now. They could be listening to the
The policy,
conversation.
if I remember correctly, unless you're on the IEP or something, when that's been brought to our attention, I know the ones I'm familiar with,
Mhm.
we prohibit.
It's a very narrow ESE. I know this because I have seen that, not in bargaining, but in real life, of a very narrow kid who has to have both ways on and maybe on a one-on-one situation. That product. And there's a couple other of those products.
Is there an icon that can go in skyward for a student that's using that?
There's everything now.
I mean, seriously, is there like notification of staff?
I would
like,
think it's in the IEP that they're have this and when they can and cannot have it.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I'm hearing where you are, as a district, on that
Top
1107.
priority, I believe it's
So-
top priority everywhere. I know it's top priority. No one, this is a difficult day and age to be a public employee when everyone feels like they got you because they got 15 recording devices. You know, it is.
So for the sake of moving forward, I'm just gonna do this over to, you understand our position,
Yes,
and we would like to just understand more about what the district is doing to kind of either curb it or create consistency in the district.
I mean, I would think your bargaining unit is highly motivated not to allow to go in on the class, right? So it's more of an enforcement issue and a, you know, maybe what to do with people that walk in with cell phones, not necessarily record, right?
Yeah, but like we said, is there a place where you store your phone? Is there, what are, like, in terms of Chromebooks and cameras, what through safety and security measures are put in place so that, you know, the cameras are only authorized at times where they're supposed to be authorized? You know, how does that work operationally? And are there other districts that already have things in place? And what they have in place?
Yes, there are. Broward has a policy where they allow it if a parent in a self-contained classroom wants it.
Mhm.
Then there's a procedure they go with, talking to them. Most of the teachers have accepted.
Mhm.
So I am familiar with that.
I know Sarasota has an IEP policy allowing advocates to tape in certain environments. It's not well received.
Yeah,
It's there.
understandably. And I think our issue is less of IEP,
It's sneaky-
the needs of
sneaky stuff.
students and everything.
Certain people.
Right, exactly. You know, bad actors doing things just for whether content or something, who knows? And just making sure that I check it.
Section. Yeah, I just stepped out. It's fine.
I was able to access it through records.
No, I know, Rickards is the only one that has it open. But
Okay,
is that for is that one that you use for across the district?
I'm not sure. So one of the things that you had mentioned was the discipline matrix, and I guess where it resides on the Leon County Schools website.
55000.01.
Mhm.
Yeah, we see that. And I have access to it. Some other folks were having different results in terms of searches and things. So,
Go into the school board policies, it's not accessible.
so on the website, it's accessible, which it's not a
Cause it
policy.
says, mine says proposed changes. I just went to that this afternoon. It
You're
says-
saying the board docs link is broken again?
Yeah. Says webmaster, you have to have webmaster control.
However, the
Because it goes to the website.
school management and employee relations one does work. So just to,
Tried to
Double check.
disable them during bargaining so you wouldn't check up on this.
you know.
But you got
it's
around it.
It's
You got
effective.
around it.
It's effective. It's working.
That'd be a business to have a school board website, operational business,
So for
forever business.
So for argument's sake, on the Article 11.07, we are current contract language to move forward. Right, just
We
letting you
understand
know.
the issue and we'll keep on it. It's gonna change hourly with AI, literally.
You know, that is a TA on that page. See, unless you want to talk about cameras for 4 more hours and not go.
I'm good. I'm good.
Page 9,
We're good. Yeah, on that.
TA.
We're good on 10.
TA.
On 1503, are we, I think we're just current contract.
I put current contract language.
All right. CCL.
We thought we were helping. Sometimes helping hurts. You said you TA B, so always good.
Yes, sir. Dun, 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 dun. Sick leave. All right. Marginal solution, not huge solution, but some solution.
Right.
If you just, could someone explain, you could have like 15 minutes in the morning, then you put 3 hours of sick leave and then 15 minutes for your lunch for comp time and then all divided. We could do it just the two totals and break it down for the whole day. Like say it's 7 hours and you had to break it down literally 8 ways.
Mhm.
We break down in 2 ways, this much time for sick leave, this much time for comp time.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
If we could phrase something like that.
Yeah. I don't know if it needs to be phrased in the sense. But I understand what you're saying, because I think it's more the operational piece of it. And
Right.
so, you know, do we put 2 ways to do it in the contract and then there comes 1 way? Like what, how do you want to do it? Are we in good faith, understanding that this would be the practice and there will be a communication district wide as to how it can be implemented so
We'll
that
let our-
principals, bookkeepers and employees understand it.
Fair enough. I think a communication will be necessary for everyone on our side.
Okay.
And then hopefully move away from Skyward to something else more user friendly.
I'm just putting,
Yeah, the next version.
I just put a note at the bottom of my page that says email communication to explain the process. That it will come at some point, just a note, just to make sure. And that's the only,
Say that again.
email communication to explain the process
For district.
for district. And one of the things that we discussed while you weren't here is that I think it's also usable in terms of the notes that you can put within Skyward. So there's a way comments or something that you can put. So I don't know if that makes it easier to capture how those are being used in terms of minutes, but we just offer that it is a function of the system.
All right. Fourteen TA. Fifteen TA.
Okay.
16 TA.
Get you over there.
17 TA.
Oh, my gosh. Good golly, Miss Molly. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I think the only other thing that we'll need, since I have the other copy, is the MOUs that have been signed are particular copies.
Yeah, the MIUs.
Leonard, if you don't mind, I'd just like to kind of say thank you. We're glad that we were able to get to a good spot. We know that your team has put a lot of time and energy into what we've been doing. We do have concerns just in terms of what our intents are sometimes, like sometimes there's always thinking about a boogeyman behind the window or door where there isn't one, and maybe a phone call could clarify that part in the future. So to that extent, there was never an intent of the organization to try to do multiple ratifications on any of the items that are a part of this agreement. That being said, it's the purview of the association on how we ratify in those situations.
Understood. Very unusual year. Very disappointing from what we received from the state. Very disappointing with family empowerment. All around disappointing everywhere I go. It's just difficult.
Mhm.
But we, both sides can do better, communicate better. Happy to help in the very beginning. And thank you for the patience. And
I appreciate that, but there's a lot of times where both sides is thrown around. I would say that as much as I would like to say it's both sides, from our perspective, there was some real concern on October 3rd that manifested itself in a very unproductive way.
okay, I wasn't there. Understand.
We got there. So thank you. This concludes bargaining. Thank you, Jonathan.